is Friday. Metallica t-shirt is on. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Mike. My co-host Avan has grown some hair. I don't know what he's been drinking. And Slayer. And we met at a Slayer
wine
show.
This morning.
Spilled
wine
beer
this
on
morning.
him. Awesome time. Welcome to Benzinga Pro Morning Show. So happy you're here. We have a huge crew on the Benzinga Pro side. Welcome on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Smash the like button. Come join us. This is the show where we get better together. Come here, be yourself, have fun, learn stocks, become a better trader, and get something out of it. That is the point of the show. We're going to have a good time. We're excited you're here. And again, come one, come all, be yourself, engage, have fun, ask questions, throw out your tickers in the chat. We have a full slew of more tickers to go over today. We have a chuck full of news. We're excited you're here. So that is the purpose of the show. Let's get right to it, man. Let's have some fun.
Jessica's got her camera on. Everybody turn your cameras on and get involved today.
I like your style. Absolutely.
Hiding in the shadows is not what we're about. Everybody get engaged.
Jessica's got her camera on.
Yeah, because we want to have fun and we want to talk. Jessica,
I don't even know how this fucking thing works.
Hey, you nailed it.
Get involved.
That sentence right there is exactly how this fucking thing works. You say, I don't know how this fucking thing works. That's how it works.
I really don't.
That's okay.
Drinking at 7 a.m.
Hey, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
That's true. Most likely Japan, but that's okay.
It's all right.
Hey,
have your fun. We want
those guys are drinking sake. They're not going to the Olympics. That's for damn sure.
That's a valid point. That's a valid point. Okay, good point. Good point. Well, speaking of, gosh, man, there's been a lot happening this week. Job report is today. That's going to be basically the make it or break it for the market this week. Hey, while we're all here and getting going, what the hell has happened in the market this week? Why is it out of the clear blue sky? Now, we've recovered nicely, but out of the clear blue sky, Monday and Tuesday were absolute shit shows. Does anybody know?
Oh,
what's your best
absolute guess? Shit shows.
Why?
Absolutely ridiculous.
What happened?
Your guess is as good as mine, man. I don't know, man. Don't even get me started on the crazy acting of the market. I mean, my conspiracy theories can run wild, but you know that's up for whole nother day.
What's the basis of your conspiracy theory?
Just market manipulation, man. There was absolutely no catalyst reasoning for the market to take a shit on Monday because of supposed COVID, but yet the next day the market bounces back up and then some. So what, did COVID disappear overnight? Or, I mean, I don't understand.
Okay, good point. Absolutely good point. I agree with that. I think the COVID thing, and really that was the overall headline, was basically COVID interfering more with growth and getting in the way, particularly some automotive stocks, tech stocks, so forth. But we seem to bounce back.
Airlines were like down 6 to 8%, and then on Tuesday they're up another 6 to 8%. To me, I'm just confused.
So actually, what kind of, does anybody know what the catalyst was for the turnaround? Because in all reality, it was the Delta variant headlines earlier in the week. What has rebounded so quickly? Because all week I've only heard that this is getting worse, but the market is like, you know what? We were only bothered by it for exactly 2 days.
I don't even know how the market works.
Well,
I'm learning.
You're not the only one.
True.
I'm just learning.
People that have been in this business for 20 years don't know.
Wasn't there a couple of days ago, like some article about the level of protection that the vaccine or one of the vaccines are offering against the Delta variant? I don't think that that's accurate, but I thought I saw something that was, bullish enough for the market to turn around and start buying again. But that was also a panic sale on Monday. They just
had to have been
panicking right out of that. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Had to have been panic sell. Took a little bit too much money. Jessica, first rule. And we do talk about Fight Club here in this we do talk about the stock market. First rule is don't panic. Don't worry, don't sell. It's not timing the market, it's time in the market. You can just adjust where your money is going to. But panic selling is one of the worst things you could do. Big reason why I have made so much more money with Benzinga Pro, because I have all of the information at my fingertips, an unbelievable wealth of knowledge, meaning I can control my fear. I can figure out quickly and easily exactly what's happening and be able to make my decision. Long story short, though, you should never let your emotions get involved with.
Now, if I have stocks through Cash App, I'm not sure if you guys know Cash App does it. How
We
can
do.
like there's no way to transfer them to this thing?
Well, Jessica, we'll dive back into that later if you don't mind. I'm gonna maybe put
That's
you on
fine.
mute
I
for a
was
quick second. But the different thing. Benzinga Pro does not manage money. Don't worry about that. Well, guys, let's dive right into the first ticker. So, well, no, before we do that, we want to look at the biggest movers so far for the day. Man, what is up with this? This was an easy pickings, though this headline came out a little bit early this morning, or very early, that this company is going to be purchased by an auto supplying manufacturer. This is going to be an easy stock, but we more or less have missed the boat on this one as it's an M&A. Interesting, though, that's the biggest reason for this gainer. Now,
Well, wait, put the brakes on. Don't say that we missed the boat, because remember, you had IPA this week that freaking went up 300%, 300% in the morning pre-market. So just because any of these stocks are only at 46% up this morning doesn't mean that that's where they're going to stay.
that's a valid point. That is a valid point.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, Avan, I'm glad you brought that up. That is a really good point. So you see the runner, it's up 55%. Veoneer Inc. The headline is pretty obvious, pretty easy. They're getting purchased, I believe. Yeah, exactly.
By Magna. They're getting bought by Magna for $3.8 billion.
That's a lot of money. Cars are cool again. We have a revolution going in the automotive industry. Don't get left behind. Place your bets now, folks. But that's a great point, man. Stocks are able to shrug off a 55% gain in the pre-market. It is 7 a.m. and double or triple from that point, meaning 100 or 150% from that point, all throughout the pre-market.
I'm sorry, man. There is absolutely no reason on God's green earth for a stock to go up 300% in one day.
You know, you said that earlier this week to me. What do you mean by that? What is capturing your attention?
I mean, even if you cured cancer, there's no reason for your stock to go up 300% in one freaking day, unless somebody knows something and a bunch of capital just goes in and buys up shares. Now, that's the good reason why you have Benzinga Pro, because you get as close as you can get to having a God's eye view of all the information and intelligence out in the world, so that you can, latch onto the wagons and get in on those trades. But at the same time, there's no way in hell that you're going to be able to forecast a 300% bump. And there's no reason why a stock should ever even move 300%.
Have you, anybody that's been around or has some years of experience in the market, and I have 10 years, but I've really only been a serious focused on trading for the last 2 years. And I've always been an investor, so I'm not checking things daily. When you're an investor, you very rarely see one of your positions up 300% in a day. Was this a common thing? Say,
there's a bunch of stuff.
6 years ago.
Had, like I said, then you had a company like AEHR that was up 13% yesterday for no real reason either. I mean, if you're looking at the top three movers right now, you've got NRXT, which is up 34%. You've got XBio, which is up 18.28. You've got Snapchat, which is up 17%. You've got SCKT, which is up 83%. All pre-market. I mean, we just now opened 7 a.m. trading. You've got ALZN, which is up 70%. You've got VNE, which is up 55%. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. I mean, for those things to move like that, you have to almost, and I hate to say the I word, insider information. I mean, because there's no reason, unless something comes out with such catalyst that says, okay, we reinvented the wheel.
I think that's a valid point, guys. What do you think, man? I think that is a very valid point, that there's a little extra push behind the scenes, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. And you have to understand that the insiders are going to know the information. There's nothing that we can do about that. They can't trade that information until they know it's going to be public, but they have the advantage to place the trade the moment that information goes public. They don't have to be reactive in any way, shape, or form. They can utilize it very quickly. But I do not believe in market manipulation. I am not a huge conspiracy theorist in the market, though aliens are real. So point being,
aliens are manipulating the market.
Oh, they probably are. They know everything going on. Avan and I disagree.
Yesterday we covered these social media stocks and their earnings on Happy Hour yesterday, and we kind of expected that this would happen with at least those because we watched Intel and we saw that run up and then completely sell off, and that didn't happen with Snapchat or Twitter when they reported moments later. They ran up and they held those highs, and this is all after hours. Then what happened was Facebook ran with them on no other news except that social media stocks are doing really well. Now this morning you have Snapchat with a new price target by Credit Suisse. It's $110. So that's they had really good earnings. They gave really good guidance. It looks like social media stocks might be a really good play this morning. There'll probably be some profit taking, but I think that they'll probably recover all throughout the day. Maybe go higher. I don't know where it goes, but I think you'd want to watch social media stocks today if you're going to do trading.
Yeah, well, Twitter beat estimates, and then they said that their advertising model and revenue wasn't impacted by the new iOS or the new Apple software update that basically does a privacy check. That's the one thing that's pissing off Facebook so much.
That's a good point, man. Facebook, that's an interesting one. Real quick, I'm also seeing here, I appreciate this 52-week high with Facebook. I love seeing 52 weeks high. Generally, when a stock reaches that level, it is not a technical resistance. It's a line of, hey, if I'm getting this high, I want to go higher. You don't typically reach a 52-week high and then plummet back down. You like to keep going. So being Facebook in the pre-market, hitting 52-week high, lends credibility to what Joseph just said, saying, yeah, man, there's a good chance these guys are going to keep running. And they're one of those tickers that everybody knows already. I think it's a little bit easier to garnish attention, particularly as we see this abundance of retail money flowing into particular stocks. This isn't something that you need to hunt down. You're going to recognize the ticker. If you see it moving, it might be a little more of an indication to buy, ride the wave. Who knows? That's a good point. Well, man.
Well, do you think a little bit of it is FOMO?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Oh, sure.
If I recognize the ticker already and I see it that it's spiking, I'm going to feel inclined to jump in. Thank you for saying it more concisely. Yeah, that's what I think it is. A little bit more FOMO. Quite busy morning so far. So, wow, Snap Up 17 is really the one that is most surprising to me. I'm not going to lie. Just then better. You know what? We had a lot of.
Snaps on social media is up 1,000% this morning on trending on mentions. Just to interject that in there.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
You got a Meanberg terminal, and you can see all the percent change and all the mentions amounts. What's trending on social media in terms of Wall Street Bets and Reddit and all this shit, and you can see how much certain stocks are getting mentioned and how much percentages are going up. So this morning, Snapchat's up 1,000% on mentions from what it was. So that may have something to do with it. So all these guys may be gang piling on the shares as well, pushing it up some.
This is interesting that you have highlighted in Benzinga. It's Snap reports daily active users increased 23% year over year in second quarter. So the pandemic was starting to really happen in second quarter, and then this year it beat that. That's probably the big move there that everybody's looking at.
Dude, plus
we're doing better than when we got into lockdown.
So true. Plus, this analyst upgrade is pretty significant too. That's a lot of good news consolidating at one time, pushing that stock up. Though, man, I know I'm on a daily chart, but that RSI butting up against 70 is a little. I don't know if it's going to fire right out of the gate. What do you guys think? Do I think it's going to slow down and level out, maybe a couple pops throughout the day, but I don't see that continuing too much. Is this momentum going to fall right into just the opening bell, maybe some a quick pop, a sell off, level off, a couple other pops, and
Well,
then
Snap
bleed out?
closed yesterday at $63.
Yeah, this is what I
You
mean,
know,
man.
and
This
then
is
went
exactly
up.
what I
So it's up $10 since yesterday. So that's just ludicrous, redonkulous.
So speaking of, I mean, it's kind of like this one was kind of the poster child of like part of this is absurd. Like this stock this week kind of signifies this stock should not have been up 50% in one day. There was no reason to go from $4 to $6, over $4 to $6, right? Even I mean, you were kind of railing on
Oh,
this.
yeah.
What
AHR.
Does
Sorry.
anybody have any idea? I mean, I've already read the news. I'm like briefed on it, but does anybody have any idea why something with such hypothetical potential down the line can just explode like that out of literally clear blue sky? And I don't want to hear it was like, well, you know, the analyst said, because we broke that story that, you know, analyst thinks the stock is going to hit 100 in a couple of years. Guys, that's 2 to 3 years from now. What, you don't have to put all of your money into it right now and have it just explode out of nowhere. And even so, dude, if it's going to hit $100 in 2 to 3 years, I might scoop up a few shares, but there's absolutely no reason to go
on the
all in.
15th, it was $2.84, man.
Exactly. What the heck? And I mean, it's basically like there wasn't any true like Haven said that they didn't cure cancer this week. Like it just, I mean, as
they
$10 million.
They sell testing. They do testing on circuit boards, man. It's not like they're selling,
exactly
weed or anything, you know.
Well, hold on. So this is something that we did talk about too on Happy Hour when we saw this run up, and we did notice that they did receive an order.
Right here, 10 million bucks.
10 million order for electric vehicles. So, so we're looking at this is probably one of those EV plays that's going to be one of those thing behind the thing for EVs. That's possibly what this run up is related to, is the expectation that this is going to be getting a lot of business because EVs are about to take off again.
Okay,
that was what the thought was, and we were discussing this.
Long story short, where their new revenue is coming from, kind of validates a cheap entry at $6.28, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's something.
But they also had good earnings too, and they issued new guidance. So there's just some bullishness getting pushed out of this thing, and now people are starting to notice it. But there's been selling over the past couple of days, but it could run up again. I mean, it looks like.
Well, 2 days ago it was what, $9. 2 days ago it was $9.
Yeah,
and
which is
at 628, it's still ridiculously overvalued, I think.
In some ways, Sandra has a great point in the chat. Thank you for piping in, Sandra. We appreciate your point of view. Absolutely. And if there is any indication of involvement with Tesla, yes, that's going to be a huge deal. And that headline alone should spike a stock. But I mean, I still think buyer beware. I mean, guys, more or less, for any new trader or new investor out there, chances are you're going to be left holding the bag.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, either if you're going to, I know Jason, right? I wonder how long he's been growing that hair too. You should have seen him 2 weeks ago. He had no hair like that. But if you're buying to invest this in the long term, you're not going to see any of your capital appreciate for a long time. You're really waiting on that further catalyst. Yes, they have good earnings. That's a little indication, but if they have good earnings, that to me is not justifying a $9 price point. So I have to really understand what it is, the price I'm buying the stock. I think the second most important factor of a stock really is the price you're paying for it. Like what is your end goal? If you don't know what you're aiming towards, you're going to your ship without a rudder. So I want to make sure I'm getting a fair deal. And guys, I mean, the market really is basically saying, okay, $6.
Okay, but can we at least? I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you.
Go ahead, man.
I've been drinking heavily this morning.
I know
So I'm
you
not
are
really
drinking
thinking
coffee.
clearly.
He's drinking wine. It's just a shit show.
But hey, can we at least agree that at least tech is overvalued, way overvalued? I mean, look at Apple's stocks. There's no way that it justified $150.
I agree.
Especially when it was not too long ago. It was only 119.
I
And
agree.
you know, we're going into a quarter which shouldn't have the amount of sales that first quarter did, because first quarter was holiday and opening up of the world again because the vaccine comes out, and the people not going out and buying new iPhones because they're waiting for September when the new iPhone comes out. So I can't see that numbers being very good this quarter, yet the stock is at 150 for no, I mean, call me crazy. Somebody tell me why I'm wrong here. Somebody yell at me. Somebody, you know,
My
tell me
guess-
this is shit.
My only 2 cents on it would be that because of the whole Delta variant and the thought that we might be going back in the lockdown, that rates might be low for an extended period of time, and that's going to drive growth and tech a little bit more. So I think that's the only thing. But yeah, tech is really overbought right now, and it's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be much longer for tech before it gets a pullback.
God, but Joseph, I love you, but we've been saying that for years.
No, and when I say
Yeah.
pullback, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't mean like a 10% correction. I'm talking just like, it's going to sell off a little bit, or I mean, because it's right now. It's if you look at the Qs, it's testing the recent highs again, and it's kind of getting rejected. So maybe it goes sideways a bit, but it's definitely going to go down and before it comes up, unless
Well, if you look at
it breaks through.
Maybe.
Well, if you look at Apple, every single quarter, you know, a week, two prior to earnings, it always runs up, and then right after earnings, either the day of or the day after, it friggin' takes a dump. I mean, it's like clockwork. You could go back and look at every single earnings report, and it always ramps up, and then the day of, bam, it drops.
428 and 127. Let's double check. 428 and 127. I use Benzinga Pro. I'm in the calendar. I'm in the earnings. They're right here for me, giving you easy information, easy to use, and taking all the guesswork out for you. Jessica, these are very easy numbers to kind of use to your advantage, because this will say surprise EPS and surprise earnings. And you don't need to be an expert by any means. The first thing you can put together in your head is, if this says surprise and this is green usually means good. I bet that's a good thing. And then that's simple as that. Basically, it is. But getting back to the point, April 28th.
Yeah, if I can do this,
January
anybody can do this.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So you're saying, all right, the first one was January 28th. So we are right about here. So there's a run up before, and I guess we're looking at dailies. Wow. How long does that typically last for you? Here's your run up.
Usually it's like 2 weeks or 10 days.
Oh, right there, dude. Yeah, right there. Boom. There it is. And then your earnings were going to be right about here. And yeah, it came right down to reality. Let's take a look at April 28th. Let's take a, right there. Cheezo Pete's. Okay, so there's your run up, and then it kind of comes down. So earnings are going to be coming up soon.
And so you look at the ramp up there.
Yeah.
Except this one was a little bit more pronounced. I mean, it started out at the basement of 119, I think.
Yeah, and dude, it was like literally out of it. If you weren't paying attention to Apple, guys, at the beginning of June, and there was such a long decline from the spring. It was so flat for so long. It was just kind of putzing around, and then it started dipping, so it kind of got out of people's eyes. No one was paying attention, and then it was slowly building up, and you're like, I don't care. It did that before. It's Apple. It's just going to bounce around. Literally, if you were paying attention, man, when it got past 135, which were basically the majority of the second quarter, it just took off out of nowhere. If you weren't paying attention, if you closed your eyes on it, it just exploded out of nowhere.
That's exactly what happened to me.
I know, me too, man. I wish I would have loaded up a little bit more. I feel like I missed the boat on something. I want you to go through what you just said a few minutes ago about the super cycle and the phones. Why do you think that people are holding off again? Or
well, I mean, logic would tell you, okay, if you haven't bought an iPhone 12 by now, that you're just going to wait until September when the iPhone 13 rolls out. I mean, why
Okay.
am I going to spend $1,200 for a product that's a year old, right? When the,
Right.
the new one, the better one, the better camera, the faster processor, yada, 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 is only a couple months away. So therefore, you would think that second quarter sales are going to be off because first quarter, everybody spent a shit ton of money because of the super cycle for 5G rollouts, because it's the holidays,
Okay.
because of vaccine. I mean, all of these things that just add up. So after that super cycle of sales, which was like their best sales ever,
And
from what
that
I
was
understand.
beginning of this year.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that was the 428.
Yeah, exactly.
Quarter.
Okay, exactly.
So this quarter, you would think that, well, it's kind of tapped itself out, and that people are just going to hold off until September, and then you'll get another bump up in sales and a higher percentage price point than this quarter. That's logic would tell you. And then, of course, you've got all the flooding going on in China right now, which,
Boom.
you know, even though Foxconn says that their factories aren't impacted, you've got to believe that, you know, with 3 million people completely impacted by this flood, that not everybody's being able to get to work. Trucks aren't being able to ship products. I mean, all these things are impacted, yet the stock is still at 147.47 this morning. It was at 148 yesterday as a high. So, you know, to me, it doesn't make any sense. But like I say 1,000 times, I've been wrong. It happens more than I want it to. So somebody please tell me why I'm wrong. Anybody out there? Somebody. Jessica?
Yeah, she might be on mute. Man, I wish I heard an answer for you too there, man.
I'm sure Joseph has a theory.
But on what the cycle of Apple's products are, because I mean, I was just wondering when you're talking if there was like not a goal that was met in the sales of the iPhone 12. Are there just like an abundance of supply? You think that people are holding off on the 12 for the 13? So
yeah.
Was there like any indication that fewer 12s were bought than 11s?
There was way more 12s bought than 11s. But
okay.
The cycle of 12s was the highest selling cycle of Apple ever. Because you had the 5G rollout, the iPhone 12s had the 5G. It was obviously, usually the way it works with Apple is it's a 2-year phone cycle. You know, so you buy a phone today, you hold it for 2 years. You don't buy a new phone every year. You know, so the 12 was the buying cycle for even if it didn't meet all the parameters of, you know, opening up of the economy because of the vaccine, people going back to work, it being the holidays. It just was that 10 was an advance, 11 didn't really do that great, 12 is blowing through the roof. So, you know, this quarter isn't going to be that great, period. And 13 is probably not going to hit the numbers that 12 did.
Right.
But that quarter that where September starts, the sale of 13 is going to be much higher, I think, than 12s. Than this quarter, I'm sorry.
Okay, so wait. So just so if I have this right, typically we should see a run up before the quarter, and then you're anticipating a shitty quarter. So the price is going to come down.
Not a shitty quarter because services are making them a ton of money right now.
Exactly, valid point. So if this is basically right here, this daily candle on the 13th is basically beginning our run up for earnings next week, early next week. Then this, don't buy now, not as financial advice or anything, but guys, this is probably a little overvalued. Part of this is a little bit of a spike, right? A little bit of a psychological thing. It should come down right after quarter because more or less this is all nonsense. There's absolutely no reason for this. And I think I see your point where the company itself is probably going to know, hey, we're not going to break sales records because no one is going to buy. No one's buying in this quarter. They're going to wait for the 13. So this.
But then again, you've got 5 analysts in this month alone that have said that Apple's valuation should be 165 or above.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, they're pretty crazy.
So
Well, I just want to make sure I have that point of view right. That yeah, guys, like
Well,
your
if
average
we
right here is $1.70.
if the price is going to come down and it is going to be a sell-off looming, I would say that between 135 and 140 is a good buy area.
Yeah, I would.
I agree. I agree.
I think that's completely fair. Let's say put that right there. Yeah, and that's the point. Basically, hopefully that this does start to come down a little bit in terms of, yeah, there's always going to be a run up to the quarter. The quarterly sales this quarter are probably not that great. We think that there's a little bit of overvaluation in general. Let's wait for this price to come down. Let's wait for the earnings pick up between $1.30, almost anywhere between $1.30 and $1.40, and kind of ride the wave to the 160. I would never ever turn my back on the analysts and Apple. I think that's one of those companies that has such a strong track record, such a desirable product, that it is not easier for them to see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I think it lends itself to a little bit more credibility. If it's a company,
well, it's the biggest corporation in the world, isn't it?
I don't know that for sure, but
it's $2.49 trillion.
Okay, that's a valid point. That's a pretty big company. So more or less, yeah, I think it's easier to generate these hypotheticals with such a large company with such a proven product line. So yeah, man, if they are saying, hey, it's probably going to hit 160, 165, maybe even 170 by the end or by the middle of next year, because remember, analyst ratings have 12 months.
Yeah.
That honestly isn't that crazy. Plus, we still don't know what's going to happen with the Apple car. So yeah. But long story short, folks, don't buy Apple today. We
can all agree. We can all agree, right? That 170 is off of the alternate universe of what it's in right now, right? Because if we were to evaluate the stock properly, my theory would be is that the stock honestly is only worth 110 at most right now. But
what? You would say 110?
110 if it was a proper valuation,
all the way down.
But
okay, that's
being that everything is discombobulated. That 135 would be a good buy-in point at right now because of how wonky it is.
110
Joseph is right.
Is not too. I mean, that's not like literally out of the realm of possibility. I see that, and I think there's definitely, guys, I think there's a lot of money chasing some. I think the big money, the smart money, is chasing a little bit of a safer play right now. I don't think they want to be as aggressive.
I mean, you've got Credit Suisse in October who valuated the son of a bitch at $95.
Yeah, see that kind of makes that makes sense. They're conservative, they're a traditional bank, they're going to have that old school valuation. I don't think that's crazy at all.
If Apple
and then you've got somebody in July. I'm sorry, go ahead, Joseph.
Okay, so if Apple can't get back above 150, it's been trying to. If it can't get above 150, then yeah, it's probably going to start heading down more because it's already put a high in, and if it can't get back up there, then it's not looking good.
Yeah,
so it'll start. People will start leaving it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all over social media. I mean, let's see what the dimensions are, but yeah, I mean, the day of or the day after earnings report is probably going to take 3% dive, if not more.
Probably. Well, let's look at another tech giant. I'm a huge holder of Square. I've had Square for a long time. I've really enjoyed this latest little run. We had a question in the chat, and I want to double check who asked it, but I did want to take a quick peek at the Square chart. Let's see what's going on. So Sam, I know you're out there, my man. If you could jump on and ask what is catching your eye on Square, we would love to have you. This is the place to be yourself. There is no judgment. Has anybody seen what the hell Avan is wearing today? I'm in a Metallica t-shirt. This is the judgment.
Slayer,
baby. So come have some fun. Jump on there. Sam, what was your question? Jump on camera. If you don't want to jump on camera, throw your mic on, ask away. And if you can't do
Come on, if my ugly mug could be on TV, then so can yours.
So true. That's so true, man. We just want to know. Square to me is like, I don't want to say it's like the next Apple, but if there's like one mega tech company I wanted to invest in for the long term, I think Square is going to provide better returns for me as an investor than Apple. Now, I got into Apple at a totally different price point, but I'm pretty sure my Square position may or may not have outdone an absolute total return than my Apple position. Maybe not. I love this company. I love what they do. I love their implications. I love our American economy 2.0 of, technology, small business, and being able to process payments anywhere online. I just like Square, like what they're doing a lot. I don't think it's done. I believe in the earlier valuations. Let's jump to our calendar. Let's jump to our analysis.
Jesus, May 19th, it was at 194. Holy crap, 192.
Yep.
Wow.
And
Now
I
it's a
got
263.
I know. I'm like big into it. Now there was some I remember this middle of the year, these $300 valuations. I don't think that's out of this world. Remember, that's a 12-month price target. So anywhere between when that came out and 12 months from then, which would be the middle of next year, that $300 should be coming into play. That's not crazy. Not crazy at all. All right.
It's up 100% since last year.
Yeah, it is. Exactly, man. It's absolutely insane. And guys, look at the price targets on Square for months. We're going all the way back into 2020. The first $300 was in December of 2020, and it wasn't too far off. The lowest, I think, it was right here at 245. It cruised past that, and ever since then, it's been basically on a nice little uptick. You're, in 325 in middle of quarter one. Not a sleeper at all. I think the chart looks great. I do think it's a little overpriced. If I had not jumped in right now, my RSI and the daily is butting up against 70. These types of candles always scare me if I'm not a buyer already, because I know it's going to want to come down. There's a lot of technicals going on in here. I wonder. Let me turn on my.
Barclays valuated at 330.
Oh man, yeah. The 20-day is absolutely crushing it. Their 50 is butting up against the 200. It's well above that. It'll probably level off and then go right back up. It's just been it's probably settling in for another leg higher, though. I think it's going to come down, most likely butt up against the 50 and start to come back up again. Maybe not buy today, but I like Square a lot. Sam, I hope that answered your question, man, because we haven't heard from you.
It's been in sideways consolidation since November last year, and it's got a nice support level at 190, 150.
190, 150.
Yeah, you draw a line across there, you can see that it's been holding that level for months.
A long time. Yeah, and that's where I have never been afraid to just add shares. Oopsie daisy. Around $200. That doesn't, not a ton, but just keep adding my position. Something I'll be thanking myself for down the line. Trust me. All right, let's get rid of that guy. Yeah, Joseph, you're talking about basically right about here.
Yeah, I mean, so it's been 190, 150 is where I drew my line. That's where a lot of the bottoming action is from like March and May of this year. And that's also where you got a lot of resistance back in October of 2020. And once it got above that, then it's been in the sideways channel going between 284-ish and that bottom level. So you want to see a breakout of that, the 280. So if they're doing price targets that are in the 300s, that's what you want to see. But you need it's kind of been like making lower highs over the past.
Yeah.
So it's kind of in a slight consolidation, like recently, starting like back in March.
Yep.
It looks like it's about to try to break out of that consolidating wedge, and if it does, then you want to see it get above that 284 area.
When you say consolidating wedge, would you draw your bottom line here in March, or would you draw it back here in January?
I'd probably start with the well, if I'm doing a wedge, I'd start with the one in November 2020.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, good. Get it
But
there.
you know, that's more drawn just to see what I can see. But that I would pay more attention to that top trend line. Getting over that is what you want is what you want in order to break the trend.
To get out of there, break it out. Cool. Well,
Yeah.
when are earnings coming up for? It can't be too far away.
Square is 13 days.
13 days, not bad at all. Hey Ben, great question. Thank you, Sam. August 5th, awesome. So yeah, that's not bad. Jesus, dudes, look at that. That's absolutely insane. It's just insane. I don't even. Oh, we're gonna have to save why tech is so valuable for another time. Ben, great question in the chat, man. We touched on Twitter. I wonder if it is still moving. Let's take a quick peek back at the scanner. Benzinga Pro scanner just absolutely rules. We're up still 4%. Oh, it's coming down a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Ben, we like Twitter. We're not surprised of where it is and what it's doing. Better expected quarterly results. We're a little hesitant to all jump in, but I think we all more or less like the stock. Joseph had some great points about social media earlier in the show. We'll catch up on a replay sooner than later, man. Cool. Are there any other tickers from the chat before we move on to a couple follow-up stocks?
Yeah, guys,
How's your time?
don't be afraid to make it known what you're dealing with, what you're trading, what you got in this week, what you did well with, what you didn't do well with. Speak up, get involved. That's what we're here for. And to all of our friends that are watching on YouTube, don't forget, Benzinga Pro is the way to go to get all your information.
Absolutely.
Get involved. Come sign up and join us. You can get a 2-week free trial, I believe it is. I don't know. Mike's the salesman of this group, so he would have more information about that than I would.
100%. If you throw in, you know what? I will throw my email in the chat right now. And it's what, folks, if you email me today, I'll give you 3 weeks for Benzinga Pro for free. And I have access to a 35% off coupon. I have my own stash of those. So let's stay in touch. Shoot me an email. I'll sign you up for 3 free weeks. And if you like it, you'll know how to use it from us. I'll throw you a coupon. No big deal. I love you guys. You guys are throwing these out. So the first person to jump in, we got a new guy.
I'm glad. New cousin it.
Yeah, you are the new cousin it. I like that. Well, thanks. We have a new viewer that wanted to take a little beat on Tesla. Listen, dude, I am not surprised Tesla is coming back down. Tesla's got a lot of problems. I think Tesla's biggest issue right now is headlines. Tesla doesn't have a lot of good news. And what I mean by that is not necessarily the company itself, but the attention is getting drawn away from Tesla and into other automakers. And guess what? The competition is here. And by the way, guys, you are going to see an electric Hummer and you are going to see an electric F-150 in mass well before you see the Cybertruck on the road. And that type of stuff.
My Hummers to involve electricity.
I would take, by the way, all of the 6-figure Series 1 electric Hummers are sold out. GM, I love GM's pricing on that. They have these are, the collector's editions, 112,000. They're all sold out. And
that's the one that drives sideways too.
That's the one that drives sideways, which you need for off-roading. I brought this up to Avan a long time ago. When the difference between Tesla and the legacy automakers is that when the reputation of the legacy automakers got beat up for so long, one of the first things they did, they attacked their product line to improve that, and they wanted to attack their reputation. So the way they did that is when they said they were going to do something or they put a milestone in the paper, they had to deliver. The difference between Tesla and GM is Tesla gets to get a little more slack in terms of things that are coming. The damn thing still does not drive itself. That's complete nonsense. There is no semi. There's no Roadster. There's no Cybertruck.
There is a semi, man. They released a press release the other day. Electric, the website Electric or Electrek or
whatever. Don't
Electric
care.
Tech.
Don't care. Believe it when I see it. Guys,
I swear, Elon must have stolen your high school girlfriend or something. You hate those guys, man, so bad.
My favorite thing about Elon, I loved him on SNL. SNL is my favorite TV show. He was absolutely hilarious. And two, Tesla through Elon made cars cool again. And for that, I am always like that. Those two things, I'll always give him some props for. But the company is a different story. Even the Tesla, the semi was talked about in 2017. 2017. And oh my God!
Hey man,
by the way,
I'm not disagreeing that it's taking forever to make it, but the damn thing is coming out probably this year.
Where's the?
Let me go find that.
Yeah, you go find it. Oh, and my last thing about it is, guess who has? If anybody knows what my favorite stock is, somebody had what's like the pick of the day for me.
No, it's not Tesla.
Guess who actually has taxis, robo taxis coming on the road? Guess it's Ford. Ford has the auto taxis coming on the road. That's actually happening. Boom. And I don't know if we're gonna have. But that story was announced yesterday. That was absolutely fantastic. So, long story short on Tesla, man, I think you're still overvalued in today's terms. I'm not saying this company cannot take off. I can't say it won't deliver on its future promises. I'm saying there's just so much. It has a lot of headwinds right now. A lot. And I think it's got some serious issues. Oh, and by the way, their quality report out of China was dismal. That I think is Tesla's biggest issue. The more cars you produce, the better the goddamn thing better be driving.
Okay,
it looks like your RSI is dipping down a little bit though, so you might have if you're a long.
Okay, so CNET says the Nevada-based Gigafactory is getting ready to go into production, and the facility will turn out 5 Teslas semis a week.
5 a week?
5 a week.
Wow. Big spend.
Well, I mean, they've got their eggs spread in 27,000 baskets. They're getting ready to open the Berlin Gigafactory. They've got the Austin one that's getting ready to make the Tesla, the truck, the regular truck. I mean, they're busy.
This is not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just not. But we'll deal with that another time. Okay, we got Sandra. Sandra, thank you so much for speaking up. And you're just a cool person. I like Sandra. So let's talk a Neuro. This is a stock. I know headline. I am. Holy crap! What the hell is that?
Neuro went up 250% the other day.
Oh, that's right. That's the only headline I know, guys. This is
because remember I was texting you.
Yes, exactly. This is exactly what Avan was talking about. Of like, what the hell? Like, this is obscene. I don't think this was really the norm traditionally in the market for stocks to go up 200%. Call me crazy, but I think I'm seeing it a lot more now. And I think he's right that there's like some sort of over. God, I don't know how to put it. I'll come back to that point.
Low float, Momo.
Well, bingo. That's it, man. And that's not a way to invest your money.
Nope.
You're going to get lucky, but you're also holding a gigantic bag if you're not paying attention.
Well, look at it, man. It went up to $40, and then in like 10 minutes. I mean, that day that they stopped trading like 4 or 5 different times on it, and so if you're trying to get jump on the bandwagon and FOMO, and you got in at 40, and then 10 minutes later the son of a bitch shot all the way back down to freaking $28.
That's nuts. Like, guys, if you are not a day trader and able to literally sell in seconds, then when you see those runs, be extremely careful, because he's absolutely right. Look at the size of that red candle. And Avan, weren't you talking about, like, dude, somebody bought at $40, right? Somebody bought exactly. They just lost.
Somebody's got to buy. There's always buyers somewhere.
I know, Joseph. Like, what is that? So, Sandra, we're all gonna pass on Neuro. We're not gonna buy into the hype. If you're waiting for these next spikes, man, I don't know where that's gonna come from. I would much rather deploy my capital in a different way.
Yeah, there's no real news on it, right?
Exactly.
I mean, there's nothing. I mean,
other than Joseph's point. Other than Joseph's
that's just radioactive.
They had earnings, what was it? Well, I
Oh
don't see it on
God,
the
yeah, right
calendar, but
here,
it says
right
it says
here.
in the news, yeah, they had Q2 sales
This
almost
is
doubled it year over year. So that's,
Yeah, but
I
that,
don't
insane.
that
look at
doesn't
it, but
justify
not not that.
250%.
But not, there's no way 2
Yeah.
million in sales justifies $40 a share. Guys, that's obscene. That is absolutely obscene. So you're telling me that this company is worth roughly what was Apple at 150? Say 160. This company's worth a quarter of Apple? No, it's not. That's nuts. That's absolutely crazy. We would pass. Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, it started out at 8:30 in the morning at $26, and then
Green is
just
green.
shut straight the fuck. I mean, you can see where it gapped up, and then they stopped trading, and then it leveled off, and then gapped back up, leveled off, gapped back up, and then at at 9:24, it went straight down. I mean, to $28 at looks like 9:48.
Well, the most importantly, the egg is on our face because Sandra is an absolute sniper. And Sandra, will you please let me come on your yacht? Because she bought at 35 and she scalped at 40. She spun it. Favorite term of Avon's. I like that. She got in, she got out. She was an absolute hawk, beast, done. Made my money. I'm out of here. Great move.
That was
But
ballsy as hell, man.
that was. Now the question is that result going to be repeatable? I not that your result isn't on another ticker. Would it be for Neuro? My guess would be like probably not. Be a little cautious.
Oh no, man! I've learned the hard way to freaking stay away from shit like that.
But Sandra, absolute props to you. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to see that because that is, a few moves like that that's some game changing money. So way to go. I mean, just absolute props to you. That's
and
so
cool. Don't get me wrong, Sandra. I'm not knocking you. I'm just saying that you got to have ice in your veins to do something like that. I definitely applaud you. For me personally, I've gotten burned a couple times of trying to get in, on a trade like that, especially in midstream like you were. And, granted, you made $5, but there's always that 50-50 chance you could have gone completely south, if you'd have waited 4 more minutes and it went straight down to 28,
Yeah.
So,
no, but keep doing what you're doing. If you had a hypothesis, a thesis, a reason to get in at that time, and you knew exactly when you're getting out, just keep doing what you're doing. It doesn't sound like you got lucky. It sounds like you put something into action. And I think everybody could take a lesson from Sandra.
Yeah, she can handle all the nuclear launch codes, man. She's so calm and cool and collected.
Well, you know what? Long story short, I'm going to pick you up when my new GT 500, my Ford, and we'll go do donuts around Tesla losers. I'm just kidding. Kidding.
Wow.
Oh man, I'm just kidding. I hope I did it. You're all coming after me now. Great question in the chat. I did want to follow up on space. Okay, so we had the launch this week. Was that last week? It was a success. Didn't do a ton for the stock. I mean, it did a little bit. This thing is
it did pre-market. It did pre-market on the launch.
Is that this ticker right here? Oh no, that's today. When? Okay, let's back. I didn't realize that was a 15-minute.
Saw the news event.
Yeah, solid. Oh, okay. So that when was the launch? Anybody remember off the top of their head?
I want to say it was like last Monday.
Yeah,
not this week, but last week.
I want to say last week as well.
Or was it, I'm sorry, maybe it was Sunday. It was Sunday.
It could have been Sunday, man.
Yeah, I think it was Sunday because Monday morning pre-market it shot up before you could even buy into it, and then it went south after that. After the market actually opened.
What's the thesis here? Is it buy it because this is going to be a luxury vacation for rich people to go to space, or buy it because space is the final frontier and eventually we're going to get there, so we got to find companies that are going to get us there? You know what I'm saying?
Well, they themselves say that there's not going to be a revenue stream for another 2 years.
Then why is it then if information like that means that I am not playing, the market is not helping me find a price. There are people that are manipulating the price themselves. And I don't mean insiders, and I don't mean hedge funds managers. I think this is literally just the same group of traders, not like on Reddit, but the same community just swapping shares back and forth. If you're not having
That's
revenue
exactly
for
what it
2
was.
years, right? Tell me, is it anybody disagree?
It was
What do you guys think?
it was all friggin' Wall Street bets, Reddit. You know, that was all the trending on Memeberg. You could see that space was being talked about left and right. Everybody was buying into it, you know, and then they're the same people that friggin' sold it off. So, you know.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's what I agree. So I don't know, space, dude. The thing with space is like I don't know what a fair price is, because I don't know exactly what this is supposed to do. Again, is this not that this is like a cruise line, but is this literally just like luxury resort type of play where, you know, if just as long as the economy's doing well and there's a bunch of rich people, the price is going to go up? Or is this like, no, this is going to be changing the world. We're going to be, you know, solving humanity's
Well,
problems.
I think that's why Palpatine sold off all of his shares, you know, because he realized that there's no revenue stream for years. And,
for
you know,
years. Yeah.
you know, I mean,
And I'm sure Joseph would have a great insight in this, and we're going to run out of time, so we won't be able to get to it.
Yeah.
But those moving averages do look terrible. That does not
Yeah,
look
I
like
think
that's
you want the 200 to hold the line there. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's not looking good. And
Right.
the thing is that unless there's some kind of news headline that says, well, we're going to do another run because there's so much interest, and we can actually, or they're going to say, oh, we can actually make this where it's commercially viable to get people from A to B in half an hour,
Yeah,
anywhere in
man.
the world. That's the kind of thing they're probably going to try to say to keep the price up. But after that, what else do they have left? Is I think your point, because what is going to be driving this up from here on out? They need to have some kind of news or some kind of idea.
right, because this was cool. This kind of made sense. This is new. This is exciting. I definitely got overvalued, but hey, I'm going to let it ride. And if I bought 100 shares, whatever, and I'm going to sell half here, no big deal, because I believe in a long term. But here it's like, okay, but really, what is this thing doing? Great question. Hey, we got to get going here. Space Force.
hey, can I mention a couple things, Mike? I want to say thanks to the Someday Kidsman on YouTube for giving us some love, telling people to watch us and to give us some likes. Also, everybody hit me up at Trader Avan on Twitter. Tell me what a piece of shit I am and how much you love my facial hair. And somebody send Michael some flowers because he's still upset about Elon stealing his girlfriend.
I am. That was great. She was I loved her to death, and he just swooped in. He had like a robot butler with him, and then the butler had frozen champagne, and I had no chance. And I was driving an '85 base Mustang, and she was like, "This loser, I'm out of here." Joseph, I gotta ask. Joseph, did you have a fun time hanging out with the Benzinga crew last week in Detroit?
Absolutely. It was a great time. I got to meet a lot of people. And if you are in the Detroit area, you should definitely stop by, say hi to everybody, get to know them. They're a great group of guys, and you could definitely learn something from them.
Oh, man, dude, thank you so much. We appreciate Joseph. Getting to meet you was awesome, man. That was so cool. I learned so much from Joseph about trading, other ways to make money, silver. It was a lot of fun. Cool guy, a lot of fun it was great to be able to meet someone out there in a laid back setting, but kind of continue this type of conversation. So everybody keep hanging out with us, have some fun. I know we got to get going. Spencer is just absolutely going to rail on me any moment. But we're reported to do that. Okay, everybody, smash the like. Have a great week. This has been a lot of fun. It's been a good week. It's been an interesting week, but I think everyone's recovering. And Avan, any final thoughts? Are you getting a haircut or anything cool like that, man?
No, I'm like I always do. I'm going to get a DUI on my couch today.
That's the best move in the whole world, man. That's the best move in the whole world. Now, I got to get down to this Key West fantasy thing because that sounds like fun for me. But hey,
yeah,
man.
Fantasy Fest is like Halloween completely nude. It's like a huge a drunken orgy in Halloween mask. Key West every year. It's off the chain.
Well, Avan, thank you so much for your insights and being here, man. I respect the hell out
thank
of your
you.
opinion.
Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you, Avan.
Jessica,
the
thank
team.
you, everybody.
Yeah, it's been a lot. We didn't get through nearly everything we wanted
Sandra,
to. But
thank you.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. Cool. We'll get